Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, another day, another in the truck.
One more again.
One more again in the truck. But it's a good thing that we're in the truck today, instead of a bad thing, like the other day with a drifter almost
slid down the mountain.
It slid down. Drifter slid down.
I mean, we actually did slide down the mountain,
yeah.
But we almost went off into the ditch.
It has been a very eventful couple of days, guys, to say the least. I have been wanting to honestly just sit in front of a computer and get my edit on.
Yeah.
And I did do some of that yesterday, but out of the last 3 days, I've only gotten to do it one day, just because of events. Like I said, the first day, I had to go sign the papers. Then I got the phone call from Mike,
yeah.
And then that ended up being an all-day thing.
That was all day.
All day. So that washed out that day. Then yesterday I was able to film the Keeping It Real. I made a really cool short on Homesteading of the beauty of Come On Mountain after a rain. Gorgeous, gorgeous short. And then did a little back end stuff like that. And started editing the next video for Come On Homesteading. And then today, I was planning on getting my edit on, but then he got a phone call.
A big deal just happened for us.
Yeah, big deal. We're actually going to get his truck. His truck is done. All the stuff that the front end and the tires and all that stuff situated. There was one problem, but I'm going to save that for
Dreaming with Drifters.
Dreaming with Drifters. They can discuss that. Well, we will discuss that because we're actually going to film it.
Could we going to be together?
Yeah. And but went down this morning and checked on the creek, and it's been raining for 4 days straight now. Solid. I mean, yesterday was off and on a little bit, but last night it rained all night long.
Yeah, it started about 2-3 o'clock in the morning,
yeah.
And didn't let up until about 10 this morning.
Yeah. So I was a little worried about the creek. But I'm going to tell you what, that creek is holding its own this year.
The creek looks better today
than it did yesterday.
After all the days than it did yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes down just as fast as it comes up. And let's go ahead and discuss some of that now. It's a new rainy season, so the comments are coming back about the bridge and the culverts and all that. And can you do this and can you do that and all this other stuff. There's a million things that can be done, but financially, no, none of it. It's not a huge problem with the creek,
right?
Unless you make it one, in my opinion. The creek does go up, but it's only in the last 2 years. I have been trapped on the mountain for 1 day at a time, no multiple days or nothing like that. Maybe 3 times max a year.
Okay, nice.
A year. But I have a truck that can go through a little bit more than like a car or something like that. And that's without me taking any unnecessary risk as well.
Right.
The first year I did get into some water a couple of times that I was like, ooh, okay, that's my limit. You know.
But you had to learn that.
Yeah, I had to learn, and I was still cautious. But there was 1 or 2 times where the back end kind of went a little sideways,
a little squirrely.
And I was like, okay, note to self, that's as high as I can go in this vehicle, stuff like that. To be honest with you guys, I've been trapped on the mountain longer because of ice than I have water.
Right.
Ice shuts it down around here because of all these steep hills and stuff like that. It's the worst. Snow's not too bad. Rain, it comes and goes pretty fast.
Yep.
The ice lasts a minute. We've been stuck, like I said, for ice more than anything else. And it's just like up north where you got a blizzard or something like that comes through. You're snowed in for like a week, 2 weeks. I'm never going to have that here with this water. Last year we had the worst 2 floods since the 80s here, and it was back to back, like all within the same week. And that's when we had the drifter down. That's the worst that creek. My neighbors have told me that's the worst they've seen that creek since the 70s. And still, even with that, the next day we could get out. As soon as it stopped raining, within a day it just. So, do I want to do the bridge? Yes, absolutely. I would love to have a bridge across there and not even have to worry about it and all that other stuff. but it's not super high on the priority list because it's a lot of money and a lot of work that's going to have to go in. You know, we say it all the time on here, the cameras don't do it justice, and it's true, it does not. That creek is a lot more violent and it gets a lot bigger than what it looks on camera, and you can't just throw something together and put it there because it's just going to wash down the creek.
Yeah, I mean, look at the road, the mountain road that takes you from our side to the south side of the mountains.
Yeah, it took about a 40-yard piece of bridge completely off the pillars and took it 100 yards down the river.
Solid concrete.
Solid concrete.
So I don't think that our bridge that we build in a week and throw it together is going to do anything except get washed down and waste our money.
Yeah, it's not. And it's also a creek bed is very rocky and stuff like that. And the only way to really properly do it, guys, is drill down and get a good base with concrete or steel or something like that, deep down, and then come up out of the ground with that, and then have it high enough that the water's always going to flow under it, because if it ever starts hitting the side of it, Mother Nature's going to win. Mother Nature don't sleep. So if it's raging and raging and raging, I mean, it's 24/7.
Right.
It's gonna win eventually. So it's something that's gonna take a lot of resources and stuff like that, and a lot of time and effort and stuff like that. That's a huge project. And if my brother ever gets enough steel and stuff like that, I've seen a couple of y'all comments about that. I never said that was happening tomorrow. It's a matter of my brother getting enough scrap steel to do the project, and then I have to get it shipped up here on a semi truck, and so that's costly as well.
I actually remember that conversation when we were talking about that, and I specifically remember you saying that it wouldn't be anytime soon.
Yeah, if that ever happens,
the FedEx truck is stuck in that guy's yard.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
If that ends up happening one day, that's great. If I do it out of telephone poles, if I get enough telephone poles, that's great. That's an option too. I got a line on some telephone poles. But to be honest with you, importance for me is, now that I'm stable and stuff in the tiny house, even though there's still plenty more to do there, getting my animals situated and actually digging holes and putting posts in the ground for a fence is more important to me than a bridge right now. I'm really wanting to get them secure in a big area and all that other stuff, and Coco not, being a yard goat and all that kind of stuff. So that's on a higher priority level than a bridge right now.
For sure. Even
though a bridge would be nice, don't get me wrong. And I've thought about, and I've read all of y'all's suggestions too about like semi-trailers and stuff like that. It's longer than that. It would take probably 4 semi-trailers, and then on top of it, a semi-trailer's still not going to be high enough to stay above the water without doing the same pillars that you would do for a bridge anyways. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a catch-22. I appreciate all of the suggestions and stuff like that, because I read them all, because if I ever see one that's feasible right now, I'll do it. I just haven't seen one yet. And also, it's not just me now. Yeah, I could take the blunt of it and pay for it all myself and build a bridge and stuff like that. But there's another family on the mountain now and stuff like that. And I also got to think about their resources and stuff like that, and their money and their time and stuff like that, because I'm not going to pay for it all now by myself.
And nor should you.
No. And so whenever it's the right time for both of us, then we'll make it happen.
We'll put our heads together and
to me, there's a lot of other stuff that needs to happen before that bridge. Like, that road needs a lot of work, which we've actually recently, this past week, talked about.
Yep.
As soon as it dries out again, and maybe putting our resources together, getting a couple of loads of SNAIL,
some SNAIL,
and maybe some rock or something like that, depending on the areas, and do a little maintenance on the road, because it's starting to get pretty bad again. And we had it in a pretty good shape for 4th of July.
It was in amazing shape.
Yeah, but every rainy season is going to have its issues with the road until we get ditches dug all the way down both sides, get it cambered the right way for all the drainage and stuff like that. But that's tons and tons of money. I mean, rock is expensive, guys, and it does not go far.
It goes just about as far. I can throw the rock further than it's going to go.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things that we're just going to chip at over the time. My plan is to get our road fixed from come on mountain, all the way to the creek.
Okay.
And once I get that fixed, then jump across the creek, and I've already started on the other side. We wouldn't even be able to get in right now if I didn't do the work that I did 2 years ago on the road, because it was getting to the point where I was getting stuck driving, and that's why I brought in $3,000 worth of rock and rocked that whole area, and now it's not an issue. That's never an issue.
On the hill right there?
It's a little bumpy and all that, but you ain't getting stuck and getting buried anymore.
Yeah.
And, so I'm already, about $3,500 in on that road right now, and it ain't a very big section that I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then I also don't want to just keep dumping dirt and shell and all this other stuff without building it up and actually having the ditches because all it's going to do is just keep washing out.
Right.
So it's getting better. It's better than what it was when I moved here, and slowly by time. And once these guys get a little bit more stable and settled in their shells, then we'll be able to start taking on big projects like that. But that's not a small project, guys.
And the road work is really the same for anybody who lives anywhere that you get a lot of rain or a lot of snow, because a lot of you guys have to do maintenance on your driveways or on your rock and stuff like that. So just how you guys are going to have to do the maintenance, we will too, just on a larger scale.
Yeah, and we basically got to create a road. I mean, it's basically a goat trail up through there. When I first moved there, that road's night and day. If y'all remember what it looked like when we first went up there, I mean, it was a glorified goat trail.
Yeah.
And now it's an actual road. What I really want is I want some road millings, and I haven't found them around here yet. They had a whole bunch at the baseball field down there, but they was hauling it off
for the road.
For the road, and man, I would love to have some road millings, because that's the ideal. Build it up, get your camber right, put the road millings down, and then it kind of hardens, and it actually turns into like a blacktop road. Now that's the cat's meow right there. I mean, ideally, that's what I would like. Hopefully, one day they're tearing up one of these roads around here, and they just got an excess amount of it, and I could work a good deal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it'll go up on the priority list, because budget-wise it makes sense.
Right, because availability is a big deal.
Because in Florida, that's what we use is road millings. People, it's lime rock and road millings. It's about the two types of things that people get. And I don't know if you've ever lived on a lime rock road, but boy, look here. You will never have nothing clean again, ever.
It's just versus like the same style as living on the roads around here. It's just a different color. Yeah. In Florida, riding around on the back roads, you're going to be a gray dusty. Here, you get the brown gold dusty.
Gray white.
Yeah.
Gray white.
The gray white. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, only when it's dry, it's like that. Lime rock, if it rained 2 days later, that joker's like slapping erasers together on a chalkboard going down. It turns into like a mushroom cloud that you can't even see in front of you, like type stuff. I don't miss lime rock at all. But hey, it's what works for the area.
Oh look, the Petit Jean Relief has water in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen that whole thing like a lake.
Yeah, but remember? Oh yeah, last February it was like that when I lost my truck.
Yeah, but and then I don't think I told him where we're going.
Oh, you did not.
Oh yeah,
you did not.
Well,
other than us going to get the truck.
Yeah, being that we're already out and about, and when I get back home, I'd like to stay on the mountain for a couple of days without leaving. We're going to go look at some of those shed things like they got, and also a couple more designs, because I think I'm going to go with a different design. I just need to price some things out and all of that other stuff. There's a wait time on them, so I want to go ahead and get this going. That way the time can start ticking to when it's going to show up, and hopefully I can get it done before the next snowstorm or ice storm or something like that. And we're also coming into rainy season, so apparently.
Yeah, it is upon us.
So I would like to go ahead and get that in the works. I think it's going to be the quickest, best solution to be able to protect. Really, Uber and the boat is the two that I'm biggest worried about. The truck is fine. I mean, truck's made to sit outside. I'd prefer to have it under something. And if I can get something big enough that it can, then that's fine.
You never know what you might find.
But Uber and my boat, that's two that Uber is not cheap. And I hate it just sitting out there in the weather. And then the boat, well, boats are not good to set out and just sit.
Yeah.
So you rotted out the floors and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to get those two protected. I'd like to have them all protected, but right now, if I could get those two and possibly my truck up underneath the cover, I'd be all right with that.
See what we get squeezed in there.
Because I can take here soon those yellow temporary canopies that I got and actually like keep lifting and stuff like that in the future if need be. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We're pulling up to the post office right now because we had some of you guys say that we got some stuff here waiting. So we're going to check that out. We're always very grateful for everything that y'all sending the love, whether it be letters or cards or little homemade things or stuff that just helps us on this journey here doing off-grid. So we definitely appreciate it, guys. What is it, Thursday?
Thursday.
This month right here, guys, is flying. I feel like 2024 is going to
It's already,
blink.
what is it, like the 25th?
Yeah, something like that. We're almost at the end of the month already.
25th.
Absolutely insane.
It's only 6 days left in this month.
Which means that y'all need to tighten up and take a step closer to your goals, guys. It's moving fast. And, of course, do something nice for somebody. But always, and I do mean always, guys, keep it real. Come on.